Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Okay, so I like to start by giving away things. So I got my box. Everybody got their ticket. If you're not here, we're going to keep rolling on the next number. Can you hear me?
No, I don't think I do here. Good start. Is it the same numbers that are still in there from before?
I don't know. Okay, get ready. Okay. Well, you got a good walk. Yes? Do you feel like your heartbeat looks like what you see around the gym here? Or your heartbeats look like that? Oh. Well, I hope not, because I've been told that if your heart looks this way when they take your blood pressure and all of that, it's because you are in a coma. So I hope not. Okay, this walk is just helps you to rest your body, take any toxins out, have fresh air, get the sunlight, drinking good water, all what we have been talking all this weekend. So, are we ready to give away? I do. Yes. We need lots of water. Okay. Here comes the number. Todd, can you say it? The last 4 digits.
Last 4 digits, 3340.
Anybody? Going once, going twice? Oh! The last one that came in. Guess what? You are going back to Fisherman Wharf. Enjoy. Okay, Todd. Next place.
Last 4 digits, 3388.
3388. Anyone?
Going once.
No? Okay, next one, Todd. Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
3358.
3358.
All right.
No? Yes?
Going once. Going twice.
Okay.
3160.
No.
Going once. Going twice.
Still on the walk.
3135.
3135.
All right, going once, going twice. 3149.
3149. No. They're outside, still walking, having some air and sunshine.
3375. 3337. All right.
Here you go. Enjoy the Fisherman Wharf. Okay. One more, and we're going to start with the new exposition.
All right, last one. 3378.
Oh, there you go.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm going to give you this because I know you're going to go with your mommy and your sisters. Okay, so enjoy. You're welcome. Okay, so our first presenter this afternoon is about nutrition. And all of you who know Todd has seen the before and the after. Then we would like to know what he had done in this project, this journey that is leading him to an even more longer journey. But he has done it in the right way, according to his body's needs, and doing it careful. So Todd, talk to us, tell us what you have done.
Well, I'd have to start to say that I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice on any of this, but I think, where we always need to start is thinking healthy. Being in a healthy place is definitely where it starts, because if we're not healthy, then we can't heal, right? When I say healthy, though, mentally healthy. We have to be mentally healthy. And our number one goal is to make it to heaven. And our second goal would be our health. And without our health, we don't have a whole lot to give. For me personally, what I did was I basically cut out all kind of foods that were processed. So all processed foods have been removed from my diet. So that would be like white rice. That would be pastas, breads, cereals, like basically almost all carbohydrates. All my carbohydrates come from real food, quality foods. And there was a saying that I discovered, and what were they saying? It become a qualitarian. So all the foods that we eat, make sure that they're good quality. So like, grass-fed, grass-finished beefs, organic fruits and vegetables, quality oils like olive oil, coconut oil, and avocado oils. Those are three really healthy oils for you. All the other corn oils, canola oils, they're all seed oils. They're toxic to our bodies. So when we're deep frying with those types of foods, we're really killing ourselves. It takes up to 2 years to get corn oils out of our system. 2 years.
Let me ask you one thing, Todd. When you made the decision to change your lifestyle, was there some issues in your body? Did your doctor ask you to change these eating habits? How did that come out about?
No, we can't get doctors in British Columbia, so it wasn't the doctor.
I get it then.
For me, I suffer with psoriasis. And so I was told that, go on a low-carb diet and, some of those symptoms would dissipate. I would say yes, they did dissipate with a low-carb diet, but they haven't totally gone away. So I'm probably only, I would say, 50% into my journey to get healthy. I'm working a lot more, doing a lot more exercise now, trying to get some muscle, right? So my weight loss, that was not my goal. Weight loss was just a bonus to getting healthy. You see a lot of people walking around, they're skinny, but they got a bit of a belly. And usually what that is a fatty liver. And that comes from carbohydrate abuse, so a high carbohydrate diet.
Wow, so I have heard this term, without offending anyone, skinny cows. I heard this from trainers, that they look skinny, but they're actually fat because they're made of just fat, no muscle, so their bodies are suffering. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, so basically when we have a high carbohydrate diet, fat starts to build up and around our organs. And it's obviously not healthy. That's the chances of getting heart attacks and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I do believe that the fight is against sugar. Nothing else really matters as long as whole foods, good, nutritious diet.
Yeah, basically we have three sources of calories or whatever that we would take. We would You would have carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Now here's the difference. 2 of those are fuel sources. Carbohydrates is a fuel source, and fats are a fuel source. Basically what happens is when you have a high carbohydrate diet, your insulin levels rise. And when you continue to do that, you end up with this really high level of insulin. Pre-diabetics, category 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, that's what that's called. Basically, your pancreas creates insulin, and insulin's job is to push down the glucose levels in your blood because you have to maintain. Your body will rip itself apart trying to maintain a constant blood glucose level. So
what will be Todd's diet in a day?
My diet in a day.
How you control the insulin in your body?
Basically, like I said, I've removed all carbohydrates from my diet. When I say all carbohydrates, not including the vegetables. So I would start my day off with salads. I like kimchis, I like sauerkrauts, all good probiotics, right? Prebiotics. And then I would go to a protein, and then I would have my fats kind of at the end of my meal, and I may spread that out. For me, I do intermittent fasting, and I kind of have about a 3 or 4 hour eating window. And I try not to eat them all at the same time. I try to get the vegetables in first because it'll help you, it'll prevent you from getting the big blood sugar spikes because of fiber. So fiber kind of stops that blood glucose spikes.
Very interesting. Todd, I was eating my lunch and you said, I shouldn't be drinking the water when I'm eating because you saw me drinking water in my meals.
Yeah, so what that does is it waters down the bile. So your gallbladder, when you eat, excretes this bile, basically acid, into your stomach. What you should be doing is you should be drinking your water about a half an hour to an hour prior to your meal, which then your stomach lining kind of absorbs all that water, and then when that acid gets into your stomach, it stops it from eating holes into your stomach lining.
Oh, how interesting. And also, talking to you before, because I know you are now understanding how your body works and you help other people, you keep saying that we can do everything, right? But if we don't rest, nothing works.
Yeah, I would say rest is probably our #1 important thing that we need, because if you don't have your rest, you can't think properly, you can't digest your food properly. It really sets you off. So yeah, you need to basically try to get to sleep by 10 o'clock because that's when our rhythm kind of kicks in for sleep. And try to get those 8 hours sleep.
Yes. So yes, I talked about it this morning a little bit. And the recommendation has been that if you have at least 3 hours before midnight, then you have good sleep because it equals, every hour equals like 2 hours of sleep, right?
Yeah, the first 4 hours is definitely the most important, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
And so getting quality sleep, how do you get quality sleep? Well, reduce the stress in your life, obviously, is probably one of the most toxic part of our lives, right? And then from there, if you need to, get an eye patch, put earplugs in until you can get used to getting that. There's a word for it, but I can't remember it right now, but your clock basically clicks in and you need to be able to get in that window.
Yes, I do suffer of in summertime when it's so much light here in BC, we enjoy the sun so much. However, it goes down until almost 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I'm still up because I'm so, stimulated by it. It has been very hard to go to bed.
Yeah. The sun kind of, when you go out in the morning, and the sun will help increase melatonin levels, and then hours later the melatonin starts to kick in. So when you come to bed, the melatonin really starts to kick in at that point and helps you sleep. So yeah, sun is very important, getting out, getting that exercise.
Yes, I agree.
What else do I like to talk about? So there's all levels of, when you reduce your carbohydrates to a certain point, you stop relying on glycogen. So glycogen is created from the liver. And the liver excretes this glycogen into your muscles and into your fat. And your liver will also create something called ketones, but it will not be able to create a ketone until the glycogen levels have dropped low enough. Remember this, you'll always burn glucose before you burn fat. So as long as insulin is present, you will never burn fat. So that's the purpose of getting those levels down low enough so you can actually start burning fat. If you're relying on your pancreas to always do all the work, creating insulin, to always push that down and never relying on the glycogen in your body, you'll never get to that point to where you can actually start burning fat. So that's when ketogenics, that lifestyle, comes into play. I'm not saying that you have to get to that point. I really, wouldn't recommend jumping straight into ketogenics, but I would recommend practicing getting your carbohydrates to a much lower number. I mean, we literally the average person eats 65 pounds of sugar a year. That's the average diet.
Yes, and the worst part is that it's so addicting, right? It's so easy to get in there. This is what we are doing this here today, Todd, because I suffer from sugar cravings. And it gives me that happy feeling for not too long. Yeah. And then I'm really down again. Like, this is not a way of living.
So you can get an overgrowth of what's called the candida, and that's basically parasites in your stomach. We all have them, but do we have an overgrowth? And when you eat sugar, you can end up getting an overgrowth of that. Here's one of the most important little tips that I'm probably going to give you today, is that you need 4,700 milligrams of potassium in your diet every day. A banana gives you about 400. So I'm not saying run out and eat a whole bunch of bananas, because obviously you're going to get a major sugar spike. But an avocado has 4 times the amount of potassium as a banana. So as long as try to eat an avocado every day, along with about 6 or 7 handfuls of salad, that's literally enough potassium to feed your organs, right? Okay. So potassium is the most important thing that you can have in your body, because you'll never burn the fat without the potassium, because you'll never be able to store sugar without potassium. And so that's what I'm saying, when you store sugar, you're storing glucagon in your cells. So more potassium.
More potassium. Okay. Thank you, Todd.
All right.
Do you have any questions for Todd? I think they need potassium. Michael.
Was it a more gradual process of your changing? Were you kind of put yourself in that way, or did you just say, okay, that's it, I'm making these changes?
I think you need to get to a point in your life where you're forced to make changes. I lost 45 pounds over that. I was unhealthy. I wasn't sleeping properly. I was seeing myself heading down a path that I wasn't comfortable with, and so I got desperate. I hit that point where I was like, okay, I need to make these changes in my life to be there for my family. So that's, there's definitely some willpower coming in to, change your lifestyle, because when you switch from carbohydrates, that high carbohydrate diet, it takes some willpower for sure. You have to be able to say no to a lot of things. Temperance, I think that's the word for it, right?
Could you elaborate quickly on what were the so-called good kind of carbohydrates that you're mentioning?
If I have carbohydrates, it's going to be broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, cabbage. I will get into the complex carbohydrates, and I'll have like yams or a sweet potato in small amounts, because for me, I kind of live in a ketogenic lifestyle, which means I try to keep my carbohydrate intake to less than 40 grams in a day. A can of Coke would have 40 grams. A power bar would have about 40 grams of sugar in it, carbohydrates. Your body processes carbohydrates, it sees it all as sugar, it's all the same. So trying to stay within that 40 grams of carbohydrates really forces you to eat healthy. Right?
Thank you, Todd. So now on your journey, oh, questions, okay.
I just wanted to ask about your exercise regime, because you mentioned wanting, obviously, decreasing your carbohydrates and your sugars, but a lot of people who might, work out or do a lot of running or cardio or hiking can find that maybe they end up feeling a little bit hungrier in a way that maybe some of those vegetables might not be able to satisfy. So that would be interesting to know if you do have, that strong exercise regime, how you kind of work around that, or any tips.
So with ketogenics, it's a high-fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet. And when you're burning ketones instead of carbohydrates, you rely on fats. So when I say it's a high fat, for example, a macadamia nut is 11-to-1 fat to protein. So that's a good, healthy fat. I don't know if you can really say there's a good and a bad fat unless you're trying to get into genetically modified foods like corn oils and stuff like that. Those are bad fats. Protein fats, your body still processes it, right? So exercise, I lost 45 pounds with no exercise virtually, just from doing some hiking. So the diet itself really changes your life. I don't even think it's really fair to call it a diet. It is a lifestyle. Changing your life from eating that many carbohydrates in a day to virtually nothing. So exercise, that I probably should have been doing it all along, and I've just recently kind of got into more of the exercise where, I'm literally doing push-ups and sit-ups and all those kind of things, but that's all, that's almost 3 years into my transformation. Yes, I did a lot of hiking. What I do recommend is if you are into exercising, that you do kind of more HIIT training where it's high intensity intervals. What that does is it prevents your levels of, you don't get these really, I'm trying to remember the names for it. Anyway, your cortisol levels start basically going through the roof when you exercise too hard. So the short intervals where you go really hard and stop, the cortisol levels never get really high. So that's a healthier way of exercising, at least for someone older like myself. So.
Yeah, they think they call it the HIIT.
HIIT, yeah. High intensity training, something, yeah. Interval training. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yes, I have seen it, and it works very well. I have done it myself, and we will have a really good workout tonight. We will have a workout just like that with a personal trainer. So you have any more questions and you want to see the difference, please stay and try to be part, at least for a few minutes of it. You will feel the difference right away.
For me, that's why I like the hiking. One, you're in nature. Can't beat that. And then secondly, it's up and it's down and it's up and it's down. So you climb a mountain and it's like, oh, okay, that's enough of that. And then you kind of level off and then you come to a next one. And so you're not getting those big bursts of bad energy.
So for instance, if you go for a walk and you can run for 15 seconds, really, really hard, and then walk for 30, slow. And then another 15 seconds like that. You can do this for, I don't know, 6 times every few minutes, and you will have one of the best results.
Yeah. So the idea is, really just stop the cortisol levels from rising, because that's just unnecessary stress to our bodies.
Yes.
Did I answer your question? Kind of.
Yeah, so I think my question was more so you're saying like, let's say someone does, you have kids on sports teams or people who are doing that intense training, what should they eat to feel satiated? Not obviously going to the carbs or anything like that. Are there any tips that you find that this is a good hearty option for me where I'll eat and I won't feel my body craving those sugars?
I'm still eating 2,000 calories a day within probably a 3-hour eating window. What satiates it, what keeps me satisfied and not being hungry the next day are the fats. Right? And you can look at fats or whatever you want, but it can be, like I said, olive oil. Like literally you just put a bunch of olive oil on as a dressing. Those are your healthy fats. There you go, right there. And if you do not have those, you will be hungry. If you do not have your potassium, you'll not be able to store the complex carbohydrates into your muscles and stuff. You need to be able to have that. You need to be able to be metabolically flexible even, being able to switch back and forth from carbohydrates to ketones, right? So fasting is a big part of my life. I wouldn't really recommend going in more than a 2-day fast, because then you start wasting away your muscle. So.
But I think you wonder about children. So I think after having, workout, your children running around, make sure they have a lot of water, right? Water is important. What I do is take electrolytes, when I do a workout. And then to recover, a banana will do just fine. With a banana, you're just going to have your levels, like you will be able to focus, you will be able to recover faster.
A small amount of protein will also do that for you, right? Some people do collagen powder, right? And it's just enough to not put your body into a stress point where it's like, hey, I'm starving. It's very interesting being in a ketogenic lifestyle, because it's so different than what we've been taught in school, right? It's not, I think we're taught to abuse carbohydrates, and schooling hasn't really taught us to eat healthy. That's the way I see it.
Wow, thank you, Todd.
Thank you for your explanation.
All right, hope that answered it.
Any
Yes,
other
that
questions?
answered it.
Do I hear? No? Okay, so Todd, so your next phase in life is build muscles.
Build muscles, and my next phase in life is trying to work on my immune system, right, building that up. Something I discovered, because I have psoriasis, something I just recently discovered was I'd had my tonsils removed when I was young. And when I had my tonsils removed, well, that's part of your lymphatic system. So now that has brought on the psoriasis. So now I need to figure out a way, how do I work improving my immune system, right? My lymphatic system, which it's a new process.
Yes, well, it's a lifestyle that we had to enjoy along the way. So congratulations, you look great.
Thank you.
And all the best to you on your journey.
So the one thing I would say is that if you want to try a diet, be careful not to reduce your carbohydrates or reduce your overall calorie intake. That's the thing with ketogenics. I mean, I'm still eating 2,000 calories a day. I'm not reducing my calorie intake, because when you reduce your calorie intake, you reduce your metabolic rate. Super important.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Todd.
All right.
Can we give him a...
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to ask our leader in command here in this community to come up, Mr. Marion Kosovan. He's going to talk to us about continuing on the nutrition journey. I think that while he comes up, I can do a one draw, okay? And I have a number, 3383. 3383, not here, 3374, 3374. Okay. Okay, 3355, 3355. 3154. 3154. 3373. Mom? Ooh. Something just by your house, Mom. A certificate to Liberty Kitchen Restaurant. Okay, so we want to carry on here. I think these are going here. Welcome, Mr. Marion Kosovan. It is always good to talk to you. You are an encyclopedia of knowledge. You have traveled the world. And today, we are going to talk to you about nutrition. What do you have to share with us?
Okay, thank you, Cecilia. Thank you so much. You know, as a pastor, and I can say for many pastors, I believe being a minister is one of the most stressful jobs. There are many statistics say that one of the alarming numbers of pastors have quit in the last 5 years. Is actually the very top profession. If you think of a pastor as a profession or a career, in the last 5 years, this was the most quit profession in North America. A lot of pastors have quit, especially we had a lot of stressful situations with pandemic and being a pastor, you don't just work with vehicles or cars or trucks or, you know, and of course every job has a stress, but as pastors we work with people all the time. And it's not an easy job because especially in these last days, people have different opinions, strong opinions, and sometimes as pastors we're afraid to, you know, hurt somebody's feelings. We're always thinking of how to speak to people and bring everyone together. And so I have to say that in the last several years it's been really tough, you know, for a minister to navigate in the waters of stress. And we've learned that stress can be one of the greatest contributors to high blood pressure, you know, being overweight. And I have to confess that I've gained actually weight in the last few years. I didn't lose, I actually gained some weight. For the first time in my life, I've had trouble sleeping. And that happened also in the last 3 years. As I speak to you, I believe I have to potentially see a doctor, and as Todd mentioned, there's no doctors around Victoria. I believe I developed some sleep apnea, and I've never had to deal with this before. You know, even last night I couldn't fall asleep. This is something that's kind of recent that I'm dealing with, but I do have to say that this year has been less stressful. And today I was really surprised, actually totally surprised, when my wife volunteered to do a blood pressure, and I said for sure I'm gonna have at least something 130 over 80 something, because when I did this last time about 2 years ago, I had very high blood pressure, well higher than, you know, and something that I really needed an intervention. Today I take blood pressure and it's 117 over 72. Not bad. I think it has to do with stress level, at least for me. as a pastor, I have a really hard time to find, regularity in my life. People who have, I'm sorry to say, regular jobs. When you go to work, you come back home at the same time. Not all of you, but many, whether you're a mechanic or work for construction, your schedule is very regular. My schedule is all over the place. I can receive a phone call at, 11 p.m. or have some school board meeting until 11 p.m. And then we discuss, heavy things. And as you know, in Victoria, a lot of things are happening, right? We have a construction project where we are having a school that is experiencing growth. And it takes a lot of meeting, a lot of discussions, conference, people, church, church number 1, church number 2. So I'm a little bit concerned, but today, thank you for this health seminar. I discovered that there is some hope for me.
Absolutely, Pastor. We are all on the same boat. We're not too far from you. Okay. Stress is everywhere. Stress at work, at home, with your own issues from childhood. We have enormous stress because of what is happening around the world. All the news are all over the place, and it is unusual that, somebody will be just have no issues. Stress is a problem. Like I also have, I'm sleep deprived, and anxious, and all the things that anybody is suffering from. So yes, the thing is that we are here for the same reason. If I am able to help somebody because of the experience I had, it is quite a blessing that somebody will take that knowledge. So, Pastor, I know that you've been under stress lately, but I also know that you have an athletic body, because what I understand, you go on these marathon bike rides, and you, like nobody, like I haven't seen many people doing that. So you have that drive, you have that energy, and muscle recovers because it has memory. So you are going to be able to get back into it once you are set up out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people are surprised to see this 275-pound man and 6 feet tall take a bike and go all the way to Souk, which is 45 kilometers, I believe. Yeah. And then I thought I was going to die when I came back because Alana had to pick me up somewhere in Langford. I was already laying in the grass. I just couldn't do it anymore. Not because I was having a heart attack, but because coming back from Souk, it's up the hill, always up the hill. And I just felt, this is it, because my muscles were hurting. But and I love to, just push myself, go for long walks. I one day a few weeks ago took our church members for a afternoon walk to Goldstream Park, and I was a little bit surprised. People thought it was very intense. It was very intense. Actually, for me, that was kind of an easy afternoon walk, right? Especially we climbed the hill, our local Niagara Falls, And I understand if you don't do this regularly, and I don't want to say I do this every day. I definitely want to learn more from like Holly Rockerby or Todd Morgan, who is a champion, in terms of going for walks for many miles, But I'm actually surprised that, I have the energy. I definitely do not have lack of energy. I'm always full of energy, but the stress level is something that is going to be my next chapter in life, is how to manage my schedule. Maybe it's time for us, when we have our next church board, that we do not go past 9 o'clock. Maybe next time we have our school board, that we're not going to be there until 11 p.m. And so sometimes we have to make those hard decisions, even though it will have impact on people around you, because sometimes we just don't have time when we have these long meetings. So this is my next chapter, to bring some balance, because I'm also a father of 2 kids, and I have 2 churches, a school, and we have so many things. We have a construction project, but I have to find a balance, because I can see that my body is starting to fall apart. If I don't find that balance, I may be like Ellen White's husband, who died in his, you can say, early age because he overworked. And Ellen White warned him. She said, don't have to work so much. But he says, well, I have to because the church needs me, right? So I have to find that balance. And so, for example, I'm going to do it actually today. I'm going to announce it here, that I've learned that I can no longer answer all the phone calls. It's just impossible. In one day, I can get 70 text messages, just in one day. So today, I'm officially starting to speak and say that please forward your calls to our amazing secretary. Her name is Glennis Minor, and I feel bad for her because I know she's gonna get a lot of phone calls and text messages, but I am no longer able to follow up. And it's been a huge stress in my life. So I will, for example, remove the phone number from the bulletin and simply ask folks to contact me through the secretary. Because when they do it through me, sometimes I have a hard time to follow up. I call them, they're not available. They call me, I'm busy. So I'm going to remove my phone number from the bulletin and leave it only for the leaders. So this is some of the steps I'm trying to align. Otherwise, I know I'm going to be another James White. And I need to make those decisions and those changes in my life.
Well, I'm very happy for you, Pastor, because I know you care so much for everybody, and you want to be there for them. I know that you are passionate about, helping people, serving people, but you're suffering. Your body is asking you to take this break and prioritize yourself. We need a leader who is able to think properly, guide us in the future of this church to where God is asking us to do. But we need a leader that is healthy mentally, body, and spiritually.
Yeah, and our leaders, and that's why I'm thankful for the church, because I have friends like Todd, and I know sometimes like his testimony is powerful. And just what he shared here, I don't know if you guys, I was very impressed. He's very knowledgeable. He's talking about cutting on carbohydrates, and I know this is my next chapter, something I need to do. It's something very basic. I mean, I need to live the exact, style of the level of health that he is doing in his life. But I can do some basic things, cut off on sugars, cut off all these pastas, and I've done some steps, some basic steps several years ago. We took all the dairy out of our home. We have no longer, let's say, regular milk. Instead of, we use almond milk. And so I think those little steps will make all the difference. And finally, I just wanted to say that I think what's preserving me is that as a Seventh-day Adventist, we have several levels of commitment to health. The most basic one is at least eat the clean meats that are recommended in the Bible. And as we know, Leviticus chapter 11 makes that description. And we also abstain from all alcohol and cigarettes and smoke and drugs. As a matter of fact, that's part of our baptismal vow. When we take a baptismal vow, we say that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is biblical. And so all my life, I can say these holy lips have never touched alcohol or cigarettes. And I think that because of that, God has been very gracious to me. And my next level is probably to cut on meat, to cut on some of the things, some of the foods that Todd mentioned, and to manage my life in terms of stress.
Thank you, Pastor. I hope that we all lived this weekend with, moving forward to being healthier, thinking for the long term, not just for now, but always be prepared. Preparation, Pastor, is one of the keys to be successful. So when you have that hunger rush and all that, and you have something prepared that is healthy right there, that you can see it. So all the 8 natural remedies, if we apply it on a daily basis, you're going to be successful, and you as well, whoever is watching online. These are simple remedies, and they are free. It's up to you if you want to choose them.
I just want to say last thing. Next time I'm going to go on a bike ride to Souk. Last time I challenged the congregation. Only one family showed up. So I'm speaking to all the vegetarians, all the people that are into health. Next time I make this announcements and we have 45-kilometer bike ride. Actually, it's very easy. It's down the hill for 45 kilometers. It's really beautiful, the most scenic ride. So I want to, those of you who are watching us or watch us later, I want to challenge you, come and let's bike together to Souk.
Well, why don't we start getting fit right now, right? By the time that he's inviting us, we'll be ready for it. Thank you for the challenge, Pastor. Okay, so, yes, thank you. Are we ready? What is our next? You want to go next? Okay, thank you so much. I think I feel so blessed because I'm among friends who are open to talk about, as an average person, about their issues, about what they think about life, about what their needs are, and what they would like to do in life as well. So we have another good friend, Domingo. Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, one of those. I'm glad to be here. You turn it off, huh? Okay, Pastor Marian did a good job here. He turned it off before he left. So, I'm glad to be here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we are very happy to see you, Domingo.
There we go. And, I'm here to your disposal.
Are you going to go for that 45 kilometers ride?
I need to get a bike first, but I would love to do something like that. Okay. I do, actually. Back home, we ride bikes like so often. And
will that be electric bike?
No, that would be a mechanical.
Okay.
Yeah, mechanical bike. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
So Domingo, you're going to talk to us
about air.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that it's one of these simple things that everybody engages every day without even thinking about it. Because some of the remedies, natural remedies, you have to purposely like go and grab it. Like you want a glass of water, you gotta go and grab that glass of water, and you feel thirsty and stuff like that. But when it comes to air, it's something more aromatic in our lives. And let's start by saying this. One thing about air, about breathing as well, when you breathe, is that we breathe aromatically. Right? We don't think about, let me breathe right now. It just happens automatically. However, once you start talking about breathing, you breathe mechanically for the next few seconds. Because now you heard that you need to breathe, and now your brain switched from automatic to mechanic until you forget about it again. Until you forget that you are not breathing. You don't need to concentrate to do that. But for the very moment that you start talking about for a few seconds, you are breathing, like, yeah, I'm breathing. Yeah, you are not doing it automatically, you're doing it mechanically until a few minutes later, you kind of forgot and go back to regular. So yeah, I like to, could you pass me the clicker if you don't mind? I'm going to talk about pure air or fresh air. You can call it in many different ways that you like to. Let's start about pure air or fresh air. Is all about oxygen. It's the biggest component. Our bodies need oxygen. That is the biggest issue there. And we're going to talk about this all throughout the presentation. And let's start by saying that, for example, every day we inhale about 2,000 gallons of air. 2,000 gallons of it. It's like the size of a regular pool. Okay, our bodies is able to do that every day, 2,000 gallons. Now, the capacity for our lungs is about 6 liters. This is the maximum capacity for them to hold air. And which is, if you go to the supermarket and when you see those 2 liters, Coke or soda, imagine that 3 times. So 6 liters is what your body, your lungs can hold as a maximum. And as you develop in your life, your lungs get mature between 18 to 25 years old. Actually, it's not at 6 or 7. It's about that time. Some people think between 20 to 25. Other medical resources say between 18 to 25. It's when your lungs get mature, like a really mature. And 10, 15 years after that, it start declining. It start, for whatever reason, it start going down from the 100% ability to work to reduce that for, due to the many factors that we are exposed every day, the quality of air. If you work in a room where there's no windows rather than you work outside, all of those factors will really impact how hard the lungs are working, right? So, yeah, just keep that in mind as we go to our presentation. Some things that we do know is the decreases allergies and asthma symptoms. That when you actually take fresh air, it does decrease allergies, and when you are outside and you're able to breathe like a good amount of oxygen, it tends to gradually take that away, as well as asthma symptoms. I do have family who are dealing with symptoms of asthma, and that's not a pretty thing. When you are not able to breathe, when you're feeling that your body is not able to take air. You can deal, and some people have this, I've seen this in different form. For example, one of my relatives in his very aged years, he what can I say, his system, kind of somehow lost the capacity to expand, and he couldn't actually eat anything that can go through his throat unless it's something liquid. And even the liquid would not go. It was so small, and it was something so painful to see that you are not able to take that. So imagine when the few minutes in life that you have experienced that you are not able to breathe, how panicking that is when for 1 minute or for 40 seconds you were not able to breathe. Imagine that, okay, for a moment, how important it is for us to breathe and have a quality of air in our lives. So on top of that, we probably knew that. We also know that helps clean lungs as well. We know that pure air will help that. We will talk about this a little bit more and later on. And here is an example of a clean lung, how it should look versus a lung that is not as clean as.
Let me say, so the one on my right,
Yeah,
I guess is your left.
the black one or the red one. Which one are you talking about?
The one that is unhealthy looking.
Okay, yeah.
Could be a smoker.
Yeah, it's basically a smoker. People who live in area with the quality of air is very, very poor. Like I remember this summer, we have low quality of air due to fires around. Imagine that you need to live like that in a place for all your life. There is a factory close by your home, and you are exposed to something like that every day, right? So your lungs, it can be affected that way. And sometimes smokers, sometimes people who are around people who smokes too. Because sometimes you don't smoke, but your best friend, the people you hang out with, your lunch break or the work breaks.
Yeah, so secondhand smokers.
Secondhand smoker, right? You don't notice, but your lungs are exposed to low quality of air.
Yeah, and all those people that live in the bigger cities, right?
That's right.
Zero pollution, yes.
That's why more pollution, and we will talk about this in a few seconds here. Here is some other benefits of fresh air that we probably don't talk as often. We know that cleans your lungs and some of these things, but we don't talk about these ones very often. And for example, it's good for your digestive system. Sometimes you don't associate air or oxygen to that, right? And another thing is improved blood pressure. I think Pastor was just talking about that, or you were talking about that a few minutes ago. Improves blood pressure as well as heart rate. So we don't mention those things very often, but all of those things can be associated with a good fresh air with good amount of oxygen, and then makes your immune system stronger too as well. So again, some of the things that we normally breathe and we use the air and the oxygen that we got available, but we don't associate that with those areas of our life. We're thinking just, lungs and lungs clean, and that's it, right? And then it brings more energy and sharper mind. You believe that actually inhaling the right amount of oxygen, quality air, will make you even smarter and happier. Wow. We don't talk about those things, right? But it does. It does help with that. I hope you feel happier. So we never associate air or oxygen with feeling happier that way. But it does help us to feel happier. And we're going to talk about those things. Let's talk about it right now, right? Like, help to improve digestive system. The reason why is because air or a good amount of oxygen is going to affect your blood pressure way better. And by saturating your blood pressure with good oxygen, so your digestive system can work properly and better. Because every time we are eating, our blood is depleted. So you got less blood in your brain because the body cannot just produce more blood. It just have to compartmentalize the blood at this point. And if you eat very often and you notice that people are unable to burn fat, I think Todd mentioned something like, if you're eating constantly, you're taking so much blood from your brain as well. Because your brain and other part of the body are not getting the amount of blood. It's all concentrating, digesting your food, to the point that that's the main focus. For example, people who eat uncooked meat or rare meat, sometimes you go to a restaurant and people say, I want a rare meat, well done, or that kind of level. People who eat raw meat, the body has to shut down some organs to digest that because it's so hard to digest it. And that's the dangers because now other organs are working under less capacity because the whole body is concentrating digesting that piece of food. And that can be any other food that is very hard to digest. So the body has to really say, hey, it's like a group of soldiers. They say, hey, the enemy is coming from that door. So everybody just shut everything here, concentrate to fight the enemy over here. This is what the body is doing for a while until this is done. And what happened then now, other organs get a little bit, underattended. They don't get the right amount of blood and other attention that they need automatically from the bodies, right? So it is good. It will improve our digestive system. So remember that the air, good air quality, oxygen, it will do that to you. And then instead they improve blood pressure and heart rate. Again, it's just all about oxygen. If the blood receives the right amount of oxygen, absolutely the blood pressure will be more regular, will be more stabilized, as well as your heart rate. It's not going to accelerate because you don't want your heart to go quickly or rapidly or go slow. You just want to go to the right amount. Just regulate that, and it's all about the oxygen that is coming to your blood. It should be strengthens your immune system as well. So what it does is, if you have enough oxygen, it will improve the quality of the work of the white cells. So the white cells can go and fight against, any microorganism that is attacking your body, any, infection, anything that is happening to you. That's why when athletes, for example, they get cuts or they have some virus, many doctors say, just go to the mountains, go to a place where you can actually breathe and have a good quality of earth, because that will help the system, our system, to even heal faster. If you're having a good amount of oxygen, your system is going to heal faster than when you are enclosed and not getting really a good oxygen. I know time is pressure here, so I'll continue quickly here. And then would improve energy as well. So again, the fact that you have a good amount of oxygen in your blood, it will improve the energy as well. And your mind, because it has the amount of blood that it needs, because of the oxygen is affecting your blood properly, your blood is circulating well in your body. So now you got even sharper mind. It's been proving that you even become smarter, believe it or not, and even remember things more often than, it goes against lost memories just by taking a good oxygen. So we should be practicing, taking more oxygen more often. And then finally, it makes you happier. That's one thing, we all want to be happier, right? And a lot of things make you happier. Sometimes a good food that you were craving for a while, it will make you happy for this moment. Wow, my goodness, I'm so happy that I'm eating this. Or sometimes going for a good walk. Sometimes doing something that you like in life, it just makes you happier. But we never associated air or oxygen to make you happier. And the way it happens is, when you have a good oxygen in your blood, it will affect your side of your body that deals with the happier hormones. It's called serotonin. So when the serotonin are being saturated with good oxygen, it will affect that part of your body that deals with your emotions and all of that, and will you feel happier. Some people have gone for a walk, for example, through the beach or something like that, and they come back a little bit calm, more relaxed, even sometimes can even able to smile. And sometimes it's part of this, the fact that they went for a few hours and get a good oxygen to their bodies, and that makes a huge, huge difference. So what I recommend myself is, if you live in the city, like you mentioned that before, you live in the city, sometimes you got a lot of pollutions, cars, industry around you, factories around you, and the air quality goes low because of that. So please take the time, a couple times a week, just to go to places where the air is better. Go to a beach or river or parks or anything that is actually not enclosed. Just go to and trying to get this air. We talk about cleanse the lungs. Yeah, it cleans the lungs because you have to look at this probably this way. When you clean your clothing, when you wash your clothing, you wash it with clean water or dirty water? We use clean water, because if you use dirty water to something that is dirt or dirty, the dirt will never leave, or you will put more dirt in there and some go away and some come in new. So the only way that you can clean your lungs is by providing clean, fresh air, so any pollution that is in your lungs can actually go away.
That's a really good way to explain why we need to go for good walks and breathe under the trees.
That's right.
By the beach.
Right. Yes.
I know you used to help our club to go for a walk twice a week.
Yes,
during the summer.
You remember that, yeah.
So we really enjoy that. I hope we can do it again. So tell me, what is the right way of breathing? I know it is technique, but I don't know if you can teach us something about that.
Well, most of, experts, what they recommend, and people who go to specialized classes get a lot more than what I'm going to say. But what they recommend is that you breathe and hold your air in your lungs for a few seconds and then let it go. That would be the best way to clean your lungs. And then you do it so often until you can go longer. For example, you start with 10 seconds. Right? Take a big, good breath, right? And keep this breath there for 10 seconds and see how long you go. When you are used to that, you can now go to a next level for 15 seconds. And you do that a couple times a day. You don't have to go from now on and, inhale air and just hold it there all day long, every few hours. No, just a few times a day is enough. As long as even a good air, it will just make a huge difference. And this is what I recommend. I would recommend that along with, if you live in a home and you are not able to go out and get this fresh air, at least have some plants around that can help you purify the air as well. And whenever you can, I know in the winter time it's hardest, Cecilia, in winter, open the windows. Allow the air to go through your home and go in and go out to clean, to kind of recycle that air, completely. Because when you are at home, your air doesn't go anywhere. So we are now breathing the pollution, that everything that we are inhaling, and now when you exhale those, that is staying now in your home. And if you're going to breathe that back, you are creating a very low quality of air in your own home. So whenever you can, just open the doors of some windows. I meant some windows in the house that you can have this nice flow, if you can. And then and once or twice a week, just go to places that you know that the air quality is a little bit better than usual. And if you can avoid also to leave, if you can avoid that, when you're thinking about moving into a new place, new apartment, new home, or buy a new location, think about also how is the air quality in that area? Am I moving into a very close factory who dispose of a lot of toxic into the air, right? Or there's a lot of cars. It's a very busy street. So from 4 o'clock in the morning, you see trucks and industrial vehicles. You're going everywhere, releasing all those toxics, and emissions, all of that. So that means that will be part of your regular air breathing every day. So we need to think about areas where the air is a little bit fresher, a little bit better quality.
Well, thank you, Domingo. I think, so the technique is breathe with your nose, exhale with your mouth.
Through the mouth.
So it's
You
circular.
breathe through your mouth, and then keep it there for a few seconds, and then you exhale that through your mouth.
And I believe, some of the people that are singers, they have to practice this type of breathing.
Yeah.
And that makes
And they
them
go by
stronger.
minutes. They can be even, 2 minutes and without taking air again. And they use the voice as well. It's a huge and very good technique that they use for that, especially opera singer that they need to keep notes for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, they use that. But air is one of the most beautiful things that God has provided to us. One of the most beautiful free. You imagine that you have to go to the supermarket and buy air. And say, what the air is and who has a better sale this week? Or should I go to Costco with a big box? What I need? I need a good air, right? So that would be a very difficult challenge for each one of us. But thanks God that it's free. Sometimes we can move to different places to get it a better quality. But at least it's not something that you have to say, hey, I need to go and buy, and I always checking who has it as cheaper, what amount, because we will not able to afford in our lifetime to buy air every day and live long lives.
Domingo, in some places like Mexico City, there are some spots, some rooms that you had to go in just to have clean oxygen.
There we go.
They go inside the
Yeah.
room because out there is so polluted
That's
that
right.
they had to go in those rooms.
That's
It's-
correct.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. So as you see, as the war continues, it's a lot of things being released into the air that make the air quality low, and that's going to be like that for a while. So it will be us making the decision. Where do you want to live? How do you want to handle this? Because it's true in Mexico, many other parts of the world, the air control is just becoming so difficult that now you have to search where you can go and actually get a decent oxygen, a good quality of oxygen.
Yes, so let's take advantage of this free oxygen. We have so many trees, but however, we have so many fires at the same time.
That's right.
So whenever you have the chance, take the time to get some sunshine out there.
Absolutely.
Breathe and relax. Walk, get these endorphins and all these positive thoughts
Yes.
and store it there before the winter comes, right?
Absolutely. And that is what I have to share for you this
Thank you, Domingo, very much. Let's give him a clap. Thank you very much. Okay, so
really dovetailing nicely in what my thoughts are about mental health and healing. So, you know, Todd said, thinking healthy. He said, it's where it begins, thinking healthy. It happens in your mind first. It's just, you know, and then we had the pastor talking about, you know, lessening stress. And we definitely need to do that. And how do we do that? You know, how do we, you know, lower our stress? It can seem impossible until we start thinking about it. You know, we have to consider it. Where can I make room for myself? It's very important for me to lower my stress. So these dovetail nicely. And then Domingo was talking about increasing happiness. Absolutely. And, you know, that's what this is. That's why people come into my office, because there is suffering going on. And we always want to see that joy increase. And as the ability to think and get rid of our junk, you know, work through our junk, you know, increases, our own sense of stability, safety, those kind of things increase, leaving us not so elevated and activated when you know, to the challenges of life. You know, so it's like when I'm talking to people about facing some issue, you know, we always talk about it will not be there if you don't put it in your mind first. You put it in your mind first, that's why it's there when you need it. You don't wait until the crisis to start developing a crisis plan. You do it ahead of time. And that's what this is about. And so I just want you to know that acknowledging the things in our life that have hurt us, that working through them doesn't make them worse. It's working through them, we're wanting to lessen that load of burden. And in my mind, I've pictured it as, you know, I have these emotions that are sort of driving me in ways that I'm not sure about, and I'm not even sure where they came from. And I think of that as sort of like a gray mass. And when we start sort of taking pieces of it out and looking at them and examining them, we're reducing that mass of the unknown and creating some known. And that's what we deal with best, right? We want to know the facts. We want to know how we got here. And so when I, you know, in dealing with, when we're now talking about, oh, the air is still up there. But we're talking about dealing with our past, working with our past. And that is, there's sort of two sections of that, or two areas. One is our very early past, our family life, our first family. And the second is our own past, right? So we have all of these emotions that can come up when we think of our past. And I am realizing how much of us comes from our family. I've just been living with my mother for a year, so I'm starting to get it. You know, so it doesn't have to be, you know, if we come from difficult pasts, we all have something difficult in our past, I would think, or most of us. And we just want to know how it all worked. It's enough to investigate it and to ask questions and work with it. There's no real right answer or one proper way to do this for each person. But it is basically, the idea is trying to get it from the unknown into the known, to ask those questions, to heal from some of it, you know, to have forgiveness, give grace, to allow ourselves to get through the heavy, so it's not a barrier to the lighter emotions. And in our first families, it's not about blame. I want to stress that. This isn't about, you did this and this is why I am the way I am. This is not about blaming someone. It just helps it explain it to us. You know, people have done this by investigating their first families, and sometimes they write books, sometimes they write letters. I'm planning on actually interviewing my mom, You know, I'm going to put a camera in front of her and ask her questions and just get the stories. So it really isn't, it doesn't have to be a dark and heavy thing, but even if it is, the idea is that we're working through it. It's not going to make it worse or not true. It's just something we lived through. The goal is always to go from this place of, I went through this and it was really hard. It was really awful, and I'm okay. Because okayness is what we're after. Okayness is being able to trust our own judgment, to make decisions about things, and stand by them because they're thought about. They weren't impulsive. Okayness allows us to give grace to those when it's needed, to forgive, to let go. Okayness makes us resilient. And so when we're overburdened by stress, when we're not okay, I would like it to return to our mind again. We're going back to those frontal lobes and considering, okay, I have this issue that I'm dealing with. I have identified it. I've given it language. Now, is there something that I can do with it, or is there something that I want to do with it? Or have what I've done so far, has that been enough? Maybe it's enough, right? Because we just can shed those burdens as we identify them and work through them. And that's really just spending time with it, understanding how our first family functioned. We all come from a family of individuals and characters, and knowing those stories explains a bit about us. Now, that's one kind of past. The other kind that I'm talking about is the personal past, the mistakes, the pain over the things that we don't like that we've done in our lives. And, you know, I certainly have them. I'm assuming most of us have things that are little sticky points when we think about them. But when we have done the work around those, we can again say, yeah, I did that. We can own it and say, yeah, that was me. I wish I had done that better. But I'm okay. So the okayness is what we're after. And it comes from self-knowledge and understanding where it's all going. And the okayness in our own personal stuff is making reparations where we can and accepting the forgiveness that we would offer anybody else. You know, we often what we do is beat ourselves up. We suffer over the mistakes we made, and you know, it brings up a lot of other emotions that I've mentioned this weekend: shame and regret and guilt, and how do we come out of that? Well, the truth is it's kind of our job to come out of it. It's not a luxury item. When we have, I'll use the word triggers. It's not my favorite word, but I'm just using it because it's a common word that we know. But those little relic injuries that happened to us in the past, I've heard different clients describe them as little shards of glass that are hanging around. You know, you press on it, you feel the pain. Or even little fish hooks that are kind of stuck there, and you have to tease them gently out. I do see it as our responsibility if we are triggered by something. It's just a warning sign. It's saying there's something there. So accept it and sort of ease those out, because our triggers are, they can be harmful to others. They trigger something, they're like, who are you? I don't even know you, by that reaction. And it's kind of our responsibility. So whatever has happened in the past has set up that we're not over something. We can get over it, and then nobody has to live with it anymore. The people we love and ourselves, and we go forward in a freer in a freer place for ourselves. And that's really what all of these are, like the water and the sleep, to set up, stability and health stability, physical, mental, emotional. And that's why this is a key piece, just like all the others. But we don't often experience perfect physical health without some emotional health, some emotional stability. Because how do we make that last, right? It's just a piece of ourselves that needs work. So I'm just going to wind this up and ask if anybody has any thoughts or comments or questions. And just by saying, we're after those happy emotions, we don't want them being blocked by the negative ones. And it's just a freeing ourselves of burdens, putting them in the past, truly.
I do have a question, but I'm sorry, but it would take you back to your last night presentation that I wasn't able to ask. You mentioned something that we have heard often and often, saying that don't allow the sun go down before you resolve any issues. And especially couples these days that practice that very often. Marriage, something happened, let's resolve it. And then you mentioned about the fact that sometimes there are issues happening around people that they not necessarily can be fixed in 15 minutes or 20 minutes, can be something that takes way more time. Could it be that because the author of the expression of that said, could it be that the author also trying to say to us that don't allow the sun going down without making a decision to resolve the problem? Because making the decision is something, and resolving the problem is something else. For example, if you have an issue with someone, and I know I don't have time to talk to you about it, but I say, hey, Carrie, this is very important to me, and I'm sorry you feel that way. Can we talk about that on Monday? That doesn't necessarily resolve the issue, but it's taking a step saying we want to resolve the issue today. Because when this expression was also written, was written in time where people were going to sleep immediately after sundown. In another word, we're saying, hey, don't go to sleep, don't let the day to go over without making an intentional decision saying, hey, we acknowledge what happened today, and that needs to be fixed. So let's plan to do that or something like that. Could it be that the expression want to cover those scenarios, or you think it's something crazy from my perspective?
I think that's exactly what I was thinking of, is that, don't let the sun go down on it is, think of it this way. I'm not going to talk to you tonight, and we're both angry at each other. As opposed to, we don't have time to talk tonight, but let's definitely follow up on this. There's a total different emotional resonance with that, right? If you can't talk about it, and you guys and two people are in conflict, it's a terrible feeling. It does affect your sleep. So now you're tired. And you're angry, and worst of all, you really don't know when it's going to be resolved. So in your mind, you see it spooling out into the future and never having any satisfaction. So I would say when we identify something that we need to deal with, talk with the person and try and get them, even going to them and say, look, I got to talk to you, is like, they're going to be, that's going to be their reaction. So, if we think about how we're landing on people when we say these things, and try and find a better way. So, I realize that we have this thing happening between us. Would you be open to talking about it? I would. That's such a powerful, loving, humble way of approaching someone. So it's really, the sun go down on it is definitely important, because you don't just let it sit there and ruin someone's sleep and hurt their heart, and they're imagining all kinds of terrible things, or that you don't care about them. So just even arranging, I know we don't have time tonight, you've got a big presentation in the morning, can we address this later? Why don't we work out a time so it's mutual, the person is feeling honored, they are feeling honored in that. Are there any other thoughts or questions? All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We've been learning all this weekend, new things, new techniques, different ways to address different things. So thank you so much again. Another wonderful presentation. It is time to win something.
Yes, it's time to give away something.
Do you want to win something? Do you want to? One of the children this morning wasn't there, and I said, could you help me to go to my car and get something? He said, I'm waiting for the draw here right now,
That's cute.
Can we do that later? I said, no, I need it right now. And Carrie was doing the presentation. It will take about a few minutes before she finishes. Could you go and help me? Are you sure that's a few minutes? Okay.
By the way, they were really busy shopping at our market here. They grab a bag of the country grocery, fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, I saw your mother with Liberty Kitchen
yes,
gift card
she
there.
enjoys going there. She's very close by.
Just go by yourself. No, don't tell Cecilia. Just go yourself and got a good meal there, Yeah.
Okay, so I have a number, a ticket.
Okay, numbers up.
3117.
3117 once, 3117 twice, 3117 next.
Okay.
All right.
3338.
3338. Whoa, we got a winner. That was a little bit faster. That was a little bit faster.
I'm going to give you something very healthy.
There we go.
So come in and get the olive oil bottle. That is from Fig Deli, Mediterranean, food.
Yeah, you
and
need
deli.
to do something with it that we get to taste. No, just kidding.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy that.
Okay.
Another one? Or that's it?
Another one.
Another one. Tickets up. We haven't finished yet.
3344.
3344? 3344. 3344.
Who was
there
that?
we go. Who's that?
Oh, Ernesto.
That's June. My goodness. June, we we wanted to give you a BMW car, but we couldn't convince the dealership.
This is a certificate at the Puerto Vallarta Amigos at the Fisherman Wharf.
There you go. Yeah. It's
It
time to
it
go to
doesn't matter.
Mexico. Enjoy that.
Okay, I have another number.
Another number. Numbers up. Numbers up. Your ticket.
3342.
What was that again?
3342.
3342 once. 3342 twice. 3342. Look at it, Todd.
Oh!
There we go. You found it in the chair.
Dad,
Good job.
I'm going to give you water and a coupon and a couple of free 3-day passes at the Fitness World Gym. The water as well.
It kind of aligns with some of your future projects, right?
Yeah. Okay. One more?
One more. So tickets up. Your number got to be up.
3348.
3348. 3348.
Oh, we have a winner right there?
Do we have a winner? 3348?
Yes?
There we go. Higgin.
You know what? I'll give you the other ticket so you and your dad can go together.
Yeah.
Hey?
So now you and Higgin have to go to Mexico together. Yeah. Eat quesadillas and burritos and tacos.
Thank you.
Oh, enjoy that, my friend.
Okay, so are we giving one more or after we
If you
finish
can,
up?
do you have enough?
You know what? I want to give away another coupon for Jenny's Country Pantry and Tea Shop
Oh, there you go.
and a bottle of water.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jose
the jug.
hasn't won anything yet.
Jose hasn't
He's
won
looking at me
anything.
like, what's going on there? You know?
Well, let's see. What is the number here? 3139.
3139. No, it's a 4, right? 3139. 3139 once, 3139 twice, and 3139 is gone.
3346.
3346.
Oh, Glennis.
Glennis. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's so good to see Glennis in the mist. Yeah, yeah.
You are going to enjoy a trip to Fisherman Wharf.
Ooh.
Or actually, they have another location at Uptown, but I would rather go to the other place. You know it, but it's okay.
Enjoy that, Glennis.
Okay, so let's go to the next presentation because it's getting late and I think we're getting hungry again.
Yeah. So we go to Remedy 7. That's what we got.
Yeah, we are going to go with trust.
Trust.
And we have the youth leaders coming up here. I can wait
And that's
to
a
see
big
what
one,
they have.
trust. You know,
So-
that's a big one. Yes.
Okay, leaders for Exposition Trust.
Please come forward.
They have something special for us in music as well. So
Oh.
Carlos Herrera, Ashley Panapana, and Tariro Marguira.
Yeah. Morguira, yeah.
Morguira. Okay.
Okay, Carlos is in his way.
It's
here.
only Carlos doing it himself. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I thought it was 2 against 1. Okay. Thank you, Carlos.
Yeah. You want to do it from here? From here?
No, just stand. You just need the clicker.
The clicker is right here for you. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Play music. No, fine. Okay, so what we decided to do is to divide the topic of trust into different segments. So people in general can think about trust in different contexts. For example, talk about trust in the physical sense, or maybe mental as well, or even spiritual. So we decided to tackle the first and the last. So I will start speaking first about the physical part, and then Tari will take the lead on the spiritual section, right? So what can we say in the concept of trust when it comes to health and physical component? So I would like to start with a very short testimony. It's a personal testimony about this, and I think it's a nice application of what we can say about trust, right? So a few months already into the pandemic, I honestly didn't take care of much about my health, personal health. For example, I didn't consider very much what healthy food I should eat. I didn't do any exercise at all, right? And that made my health go down in quality. So for example, if we want to put it into a context, it was December 2020. I had a few symptoms that were the result of this lifestyle, right? The first one is, for example, I grew up going out. My mom taught me to do that since I was a little kid. But in that time, I could barely go out and do a simple walk. I didn't have much capacity in my lungs to do that as well. If I wanted to play sports as well, I get tired very fast as well. I didn't have a lot of capacity also to just be active for a decent period of time. But it's not only the physical part, also the mental is affected, right? In my case, I was studying back in the day. I was also working a little bit part-time, but it was really hard to concentrate. It's a problem that I didn't have before, but in that moment, I did. So I was feeling sleepy very regularly. I was feeling exhausted, right? And because of that, my productivity was lower than usual. And if we consider all of those points, all of them together, right? Basically, it came to a point in which my self-esteem was going down as well, which was very, very hard to handle. So there was a point in which I said, okay, I need to do something about it. A few years in the past, I've tried to go to the gym. I paid memberships. But I have to say that I failed miserably because I didn't have time, right? But this time I said I need to do something about it, something really serious, because it was getting bad. So I tried to approach the problem in two parts. First, I had to handle the physical component and also the nutritional one, because those are very, very well connected. I have to take care of them simultaneously. But the thing is, I know that I am not an expert in nutrition. I am not an exercise trainer, for example. So I needed to just find ways, basic ways of how to approach the problem, right? So in the physical part, for example, this is what I did. Very basic stuff. First of all, is to start doing exercise, but not in the entire body simultaneously. I had to just concentrate in specific muscles, specific parts per day, alternating different parts of the body, right? So I can just concentrate on one part of the body one day and then leave it for rest at the next day, right? And I did it only for 30 minutes per day, but very intensive, right? I thought about maybe going to the gym, but honestly, this could be done even at home, right? So there are a series of exercises that we can use even our own body weight to exercise our own muscles. So that's what I did. And I did that 30 minutes per day, 6 days a week. I literally didn't exercise only on Saturdays. But all of the rest of the days, I did have this routine. So that was literally all I did. For example, some days were arms, other days were abs, other days was, for example, running, which is a little bit of jogging and cardio. And that's the physical part. How do I approach also now the nutritional section? So for example, what I did was to reduce the meals from 2 to 2 per day. And I think that was the biggest change in terms of nutrition. I thought, for example, that every human being has to eat a certain amount of calories per day, right? So I said, okay, what if I start eating just a little bit less? Not too much, just a little bit less. So what I did was to reduce from 3 to 2 meals. I only had breakfast and lunch, and I skipped dinner. Or in dinner, I had only fruits or water or nothing else than that. Right? And for breakfast, I used to eat a lot of bread before. I completely abandoned bread, and I just replaced that with fruit smoothies for breakfast. And of course, I reduced some carbs like noodles and rice and things like that. And literally, that is the 2 steps that I did. It's not more complicated than that. It's just as simple as that, right? And then I have a graph here that shows I took measurements of my weight 1 time per day. Right? And you can see that I started in January or the end of December 2020 or January 2021. And then by December 2022, a year later, I had already lost 24 kilograms or 53 pounds. And yeah. When did I know where to stop? Again, something very simple. there is something that is called the body mass index, the BMI, and I just said, okay, I'm going to reach the goal, and I'll stop losing weight once I reach the healthy level of my BMI, and that's what I did basically, right? And I have stayed on that weight down there for almost a year already. So now, the question is, how can we link this to the concept of trust? I mean, Cecilia asked us to talk about trust. So it's a process, first of all. Whatever whatever decision, whatever goal we want to achieve in life is always a process. It's not something that we achieve immediately, right? So we have to trust, first of all, in this process, and this is the case of health, right? We have to also believe that we are capable of achieving the goals that we want to reach, right? And if I had to summarize the concept of trust in this context of health, I'll say that it's mostly discipline and patience. And why do I say patience? I will put my graph again up here. If you take a look at that first section that is highlighted up there in red, that is 2 months of time. So I started with my change of routines, my change of habits, but after 2 months, you can tell that there is not much change. At the very beginning, I was really doing my best to change my habits, but still had the weight very high, and it wasn't changing at all. But I said, okay, it doesn't really matter. I will just keep doing what I'm doing because I know that it's healthier than I was doing before, right? We'll see if my body really reacts to that or not. And at the end of those 2 months, I started seeing the actual change, right? I actually started losing weight. So that's why I mentioned the word patience. And if I want to summarize the benefits, we have, for example, I can testify about improved physical resistance and performance, things that I couldn't do in the past. I can do it now very easily. Also, when I was working or when I was studying, I increased my productivity. And of course, when it comes to facing life, I was facing life with more positivism, with better mood. So that really impacts not only the physical part, that is what people see, but also the mental as well, which is really important, right? But it's important to stress that we are all different. We all have different bodies. We are all different tastes. So maybe what worked for me won't work for every single person. But you have to think about what is the type of food that you really enjoy that is healthy, or what is the type of exercise that you really enjoy. In my case, I really like collective sports, for example, volleyball, basketball, or also going hiking. But for someone else, maybe they like dancing, or they like swimming, or something else. So just do what you enjoy the most, right? Eat what you like the most, that is healthy as well, and you will get nice results. So that is what I wanted to say about the physical part. I don't know if anyone has questions before we move. Okay, if not, yeah.
Carlos,
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. You took a project, you focus on yourself, on getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you know, patience is something that we need to develop more.
Yeah.
It takes about 2 months, even 3 months to see results. And you try hard, and you try so hard, and you do the right things. But be patient, because you will start seeing all these successes.
Yeah.
And something to remember every time that you reach a goal, celebrate it. Celebrate that goal that you accomplished, that you were able to achieve on your own. And that is because you focus, you were able to get there, you trust yourself, right? And it's for anybody. It happens in my case as well. You know, the thing is, once you started to develop more endorphins in your body, you are happier, is the happier hormone, and you will see better results. Thank you so much, Carlos, for sharing this wonderful testimony.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's something that we all can do, of course. and it can be done. So I'm going to invite now Ashley and Lucas. They will lead in special music. And after that, Tari will take over with the more spiritual part with a lot of didactic activities as well when it comes to trust.
Thank you, Carlos.
Just, no, just. Love like Jesus, carry her to him. His yoke is easy, his burden is light. You don't need the answers to all of life's questions. Know that he loves her, stay by her side. The love of her life is drifting away. She's losing a fight for another day. The life that she's known is falling apart. A fatherless home, a child's broken heart. You're holding their hand, you're straining for words, you're trying to make sense of it all. She's desperate for hope, darkness clouding her view. She's looking to you. So love her like Jesus, carry her to him. His yoke is easy, his burden is light. You don't need the answers to all of life's questions. Know that he loves her, stay by her side. Love her like Jesus. The gifts lie await in a room painted blue. Little blessing from heaven will be there soon. Hope fades into night, blue skies turn to gray as the little one slips away. You're holding their hand, you're straining for words, you're trying to make sense of it all. They're desperate for hope, darkness clouding their view. They're looking to you. So love them like Jesus, carry them to him. His yoke is easy, his burden is light. You don't need the answers to all of life's questions. Know that he loves them, stay by their side. Oh, God of all creation holds our life in his hands. The rock of our salvation holds our life in his hands. The God of all the nation holds a life in his hands. He cares for them just as he cares for you. So love them like Jesus. Love them like Jesus. You don't need the answers to all of life's questions. Know that He loves them. Stay by their side. Love her like Jesus. Love. So love them like Jesus. Love them like Jesus.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. So we have our friend Tariro.
So our next exercise is a group one, so I won't be going up on stage because I'd like the groups to interact.
Absolutely, it's up to you.
Yeah, so if everyone could, it'd be great if we could have a little kids table. So all the kids, please come sit on this table. And sorry to the live stream, they might not be seeing me now. It could just be a group exercise. And if it were to be possible, if perhaps that table could move a little bit closer. Jigam, if you could just move, you and your group, if you could just move a little bit closer. And this table looks a little sparse. Holly and Caroline, and if your table could move here and kind of amalgamate. So we need everyone's minds for this one. Yeah, so if Pastor K and that table, if you could come sit here. Yeah, so we have basically 4 adult tables and 1 kids table. So I'll just wait for everyone to move forward. Thank you all for your flexibility. It also just helps us all to feel a little bit closer. And if you don't know everyone's name at your table, this is a great opportunity to ask. Okay, so we're talking about the topic of trust. So I'll just start with some warm-up exercises and some warm-up questions. Okay, so you can all just answer it individually, and the first person who gets it, just let me know. And again, this is just the warm-up. We will have a final round that does have prizes, so... okay. We have mansions and BMWs waiting in the back for all winners. So, the first, okay, so I'll start with let's warm up with a few, okay, a little bit discussion to open up. So, on the concept of trust, why is trust important? Let's just kind of warm up. These aren't prize questions. These aren't questions for prizes. We're just chatting right now. I'll tell you when we're at prize questions. Yes, Michaela?
Because if you tell an important secret, you know that they won't tell.
That's true. That's true. That's why trust is important. From the adults, why is trust so important? Are there any other reasons? Why is trust? It gives you confidence in relationships. So maybe trust might make you feel safe around that person. Trust might make you be more free or feel like you can share maybe certain parts of your life, share your ups and your downs. And trust is also part of why we get promotions at work. Would you promote someone who you don't trust? Would you marry someone you don't trust? Hopefully not. So we all might agree that trust is a really important factor. And trust is actually, it goes into every aspect of our lives, actually. So the only reason you bank at your bank is because you trust that when you put in your card in, at Walmart, that the money that was meant to be in your account will be released by your bank. The only reason that you live where you live is because you trust that the roof of your house won't tumble down. And, you know, hopefully the reason why you vote for people you do is because you trust that they will lead you in a good way. So every decision we make in life is actually based on trust. So who you decide to become friends with is based on trust. Okay, so so we've learned about trust, and then there's also another word, which is trustworthy, right? Someone who's trustworthy. Can anyone give maybe what their thoughts are? What does it mean to be trustworthy? It's kind of self-explanatory, but if anyone has any thoughts on that. Yes, Genesis.
That anyone can trust them.
So this means that, and I think you had a point, Michael.
You can depend upon that person to do what they said they would do.
Yeah, so they'll do what they said they'll do.
But I go over, yes, someone that would do what's supposed to do, but it's also a trustworthy person for me is also related to be sincere. A person that even in moments where cannot fulfill what they promised, this person will tell you, will talk to you about it. You know, like for me, a trustworthy person is a person who has a changed mind, will be able to convey that. It's a person that will be able to say no. It's totally transparent. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Totally transparent. Not always need to complete or fulfill something, but to be totally transparent about something.
I think that's a great point. So, like, they're clear in what they do. So trustworthy people aren't shifty. So if you think about it, if you have $100 and you don't have any pockets and you need to look for someone to hold your money, who will you go to? If there's someone who you know is kind of shifty, they're not always honest, you probably wouldn't pick them. Okay, so now, we've had some good discussion. So again, we're just warming up. We're still warming up. I know a lot of you are like, oh, where's the prize? Where are the BMWs? We're not there yet. So, okay, I'm gonna give you a definition, and then you can shout out what you think the word is, what you think the definition is describing, what you think the word is. Okay, so I'll read the definition. So the definition is, and no phones, no Bibles, the definition is consistently good in quality or performance, able to be trusted.
Trustworthy?
That could be it. That could be it. It's not the one I'm looking for right now. Yes, Michael, you can shout it out. Nope, not that one, but that's a good close one. Consistently good in quality or performance, able to be trusted. So this is about, it says quality or performance. So you might say, what type of car are you looking for? So we have Pastor said reliable car. So I don't know what car you think of that's reliable. Pastor, do you have any cars that you would suggest? Or one brand that you want to shout out? Dodge. So when you think reliable, Pastor says think dodge. Okay, so this is the next one. So I'll read the next definition. So this one is morally correct or virtuous, being truthful. Morally correct or virtuous, being truthful. What is someone who is morally incorrect or who is not truthful? So Ashley said it, honest. So being truthful, honest. So Ashley, if this was the prize round, you would have won a prize. So keep going. Okay. And this is another one. So firm in one's allegiance to someone or something. Firm in one's allegiance to someone. Yes.
Loyalty.
Woo! He got it. First round. Wow, I think there's some competition from that side of the room. And this one was actually said by someone when they were talking earlier. Okay, genuine in motive. What? Oh, got it. I'm getting all the answers from that table. Okay. What was your guess?
Active.
That could be one, genuine in motive. Did you say active? Well, there are different words we can pick. We could say someone who is actively trying to be honest or trustworthy. So that could be part of maybe the definition. Okay. So we've warmed up. Has everyone warmed up? Now it's time. So what I would like is, how the game is going to work is you have 10 seconds. So Ashley, could you be my timer? So this is rapid fire. So we need to rely on Ashley for the 10-second countdown. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I need a volunteer. Hands up for any volunteers. So we have Brandon. So Brandon is our first volunteer. And because Brandon is on the kids' table, Brandon, your mom or your dad can help you with 2 answers. They can give you 2 words. So only because you're a kid. Okay. So Brandon, if you could give. So you have to. So we talked about trust, right? And we talked about what trust means and different words that could describe or different words that are similar to trust. So maybe can someone give an example of one word that's similar to trust? Faith? Yeah, that could be one. Or faithful, yeah. Similar to trust. So, Brandon, I need you to give me 7 words that are similar to trust, and we'll give you, no, they can't tell you, you can't tell him the answers, only his mom or dad can. Or you know what, your table, you can help him. And wait, you can't start. Okay, so this table can help him. Ashley, maybe we can countdown on. Go. Okay, Brandon, 7 words, the timer's going, shout them out. Uh-huh. 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 How many did Brandon get? He got 7? Okay, so I'll give Brandon I'll give him 7 seconds to give me 3 more words. I'm giving you another chance because you only got 5 words. So we're going to give you 7 seconds to think of maybe 3 words. Go. Uh-huh. Yeah? Wow. Good job. So, their table is going to share one of these. So, because Brandon won, Brandon will help with the distribution because he's reliable. Okay. So, I need maybe an adult. Anyone who's ready to go for the next one? Any hands up? If you're good with words, you'll enjoy this. Michael, okay. Michael. So, this is the 10-second countdown, Michael. So, Michael, your table can help you, but they might want stakes in the investment. So, okay, Michael, in 10 seconds, what are 7 synonyms for someone who is trustworthy? 7 synonyms or words that are similar to trustworthy. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Honest, true, faithful, virtuous. Loyal.
Ashley, what's the time? It's time up. Sorry, Michael. Sorry, Michael. Do we have another volunteer, real quick, from the adults? Another adult volunteer? Any adults wanting to try? Any adults? Okay, let's try. Okay, so we'll go back to the kids' table. So we're looking for 7 words that are similar to the word trustworthy. And we'll give you 10 seconds. Ashley, timer, 3, 2, 1, go.
True, kind, loyal, honest, respectful, virtuous, pure, trustworthy.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, she got it? Woo! So she gets a prize. So, without opening your Bibles or phones, provide 7 Bible verses about trusting God. And you have 1 minute. Any volunteers? Hands up. Yeah, you need to say the verse and say where the verse is. Oh, I see a phone open. No phones, no phones. Okay, any volunteers? Any volunteers? One is enough. I think, Chichi, are you volunteering? Okay, so let's say, okay, we'll get a volunteer, and let's say as many as you can. Let's change it to that. Does anyone want to volunteer? And we've done the kids' table a couple of times, so I'll go to the adults first and then to the kids, okay? Any adults? The adults are so shy. You can do it as a group. Does any table want to volunteer themselves? Any table want to volunteer themselves? From the adult table, because we just gave the kids the past. So, okay. Brother Jose, do you have? Any verses about trust? As many as you can. Wow. So, great job. So Glennis gave us one about trust. Does anyone have... She said, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs. Does anyone have more than one verse that they can do? If not, Glennis is the winner. Okay, so you had 2 turns, so we have to let the grown-ups go this time. So I think Glennis is our winner. She was brave enough to give us a verse. So everyone clap for Glennis. There you go. And our final question, and this one again is for the grown-ups because we only have 4 prizes. So 2 prizes went to the kids' table, and then the other 2 will go to the grown-ups. So this one is, who can give as many verses as you can think of about the character of Jesus? So now this one is maybe a little bit easier, just about describing who Jesus is. Any volunteers? And your table can volunteer, and you can all share the prize. Any volunteers? I see some. So the question is Bible verses that describe the character of Jesus, or who God is. And we need Bible verses. Wow.
In English it's more difficult, sorry. So John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting.
Awesome. So we have John 3:16, and because she was the first one to respond, she gets a prize. Yay! Okay, so thank you everyone for participating in our activity. I must admit, this is a tough crowd. I think we needed a little dinner break as well.
Thank you, youth leaders. Wow, I think we need to go back into Bible study, don't we? I mean, they do study. Congratulations to the kids' table. Thank you. You know what? It reminds me of the adventurer law when you were saying trust, respectful, pure, and all this. I think you learned it there. Many of those words came from there, didn't you? Yes. Okay, so our next exposition is about exercise. And I think that everybody's a little bit tired, but no. Know what she said. But our next exposition is exercise, and all I can tell you is about my personal view about exercise, because we are all at different levels, and you all like different things as per activity. But the main thing that I want you to remember as the message is movement. Movement consistently, because that's what you need to do. If you don't move it, what happens? You lose it, exactly. But I would like to invite Holly over here. Holly. I'm calling her because she's so into health and because she inspired me as well as an athlete among our group. Because she has done marathons.
Just halves.
But you have.
I have.
You have. And she's consistently walking. Tell us, Holly, how do you feel after doing these walks? How long do you walk? And tell us all about it.
Well, my current situation is, as I am aging and dealing with body parts that are uncooperative, I'm coming off of an injury for a couple of years, so I have settled into my routine of I do 2 times 10K a week, back to back. And the other 5 days of the week is walking and or elliptical work, or I have a recumbent bike. So when it's nasty outside, it's hard to get motivated to go outdoors, so I bring it inside and cycle or do the elliptical.
I know that you are so active and you like the outdoors, but when we heard that you hurt your leg, I felt for you. How were you able to cope with this?
Oh, man. I don't cope very well with stuff like that. And it was just reaching deep down, because I am so addicted to the high that you get from exercise. And so you're immediately kicked into this withdrawal when you can't, right? So you just force yourself to get on the bike. When I got injured, I couldn't put weight on my legs, so my options were limited. So I have my recumbent bike, and it was just getting on the bike. And when I was feeling particularly rebellious and thinking that I'm totally indestructible, I'd go for a walk and gimp along. And then, of course, you pay the price for that at the end of the days. But it's hard. Mentally, it's really hard. Like I was telling Domingo this afternoon, I had my first knee injection in November of last year. And I told the surgeon, I don't care what you do to me, but at the end of the day, don't let me lose my ability to walk. I mean, I've come around now that I am okay with not being able to run as much as I have, but don't take the walking from me.
Wow, wow, wow. Because we know that you have a doctor at home. Does it help that in the process of healing?
Of course not. A doctor to the public is totally different. The advice, I should say, is totally different that he gives to the public than he gives to himself and me. No mercy when you're talking about family members.
Wow. Holly, well, we see you walking. You took the group for a walk today. We are so happy, and we are celebrating health this weekend. So congratulations. You are an inspiration for many of us because you were on the high and then you went too low, but you were able to recover and heal. So I'm very sure that God healed your body as you should. So there are reasons why things happen in our lives, and is to develop on how to get back, right? The Bible says you fall, but what happens after? You get up, right? Shows that they give us hope, trust that things are going to happen accordingly to His will. Thank you, Holly, for sharing with us. As per yes, give her a clap. As per my experience about Michael, please.
Oh, I just want to say how much I appreciate what Holly has shared. The two things that come through so strong for me and us all is that, God has given us that willpower. I can do all things through Christ.
Amen.
Because we have viewers, let's have the microphone, okay? Online viewers.
I so appreciate what Holly shared because it tells us all God has given us the willpower to go ahead and do what we think we cannot do, but with Christ we can do all things because He strengthens us. And not only that, she doesn't do it all on her own. She says, come and walk with me. And I'm sure she derives inspiration and strength and motivation from the people around her. And that's another huge way for us to continue in the midst of difficulty and trial. So praise the Lord.
Yes, thank you, Michael, for your comment.
Jose.
Jose.
Thank you, Holly. Last April, I was running the 10K in downtown, and I was running when I know this lady that was Holly clapping. Come on, Jose, let's go, let's go. Wow, thank you. And tomorrow I will do the 8Ks. I hope that someone else is going to join me.
What are you doing?
There is the 21 and the full one, 40, if you want to do that.
Wow.
I'll do the 8.
Congratulations.
And thank you, Holly. 40 years old? Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else have a comment? Well, Jose, congratulations. Tomorrow you're going to do so well. I know you work so hard. You're physically active. You know, his job is, being up there on the roof and doing things. So your body is ready for it. So we're going to be thinking of you. Next time we will join you. Okay, so as per my experience about exercise, I have spent a lot of money, with trainers. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? The way I see it and the way I look back is an investment because I needed the help, right? My body was different and it was an investment well spent. I never regret it. However, this year, I have gone on my own. And all what I did, because we have such a wonderful summer as well, what I did is go to the pool every morning. I enjoy running on the water. I was able to run and getting fast and do some laps and then enjoy the aquafit. I was doing all these movements that I haven't done since I was a child. So I highly recommend this sport, go out there. We have such a wonderful pool very close, the Commonwealth pool. You can go there and enjoy yourself and prepare your body to do something else eventually. I highly recommend that to you if you have some issues. What inspires me when I go there is not only that I'm there in the morning, I see these ladies, 60, 70, even 80 years old, joining right beside me, doing almost the same exercise, almost even at the same speed. So it inspires me to keep going because they're happy. I see them cheering. They come with the right attitude. I want to be like that. Why not? I see the synchronized ladies doing it, but I see these other ladies, I'm like, yes. I go from one spectrum to the other, and I get so inspired. So don't stay home. Go, move yourself. Movement, please remember, movement consistently is very important, because if you don't move, you're going to lose something. You're going to lose muscle. You're going to lose the ability to, to stretch yourself properly, to walk properly. Once you start doing it, you're going to start feeling even better. When you go out there for a walk, even though you don't feel like it, take 10 steps out. Have some fresh, deep breath air, like Domingo was teaching us, get some fresh air, smell beautiful roses, and sunshine. And if you change your mind after your 10 steps out, well, come back, drink more water. But once you are out there, just keep going. Be ready, be willing, and talk, meditate through the walk. This is one of the times that I really enjoy is going for walks. And when I got into a hill, I'd rather run it up. And you know what I do? There is a cherry blossom tree right next to the small little hill. When I got there, he is representing Jesus for me, because I am able to go back to walk and run, and I just kind of high five. So this is kind of my thing. Yeah? There you go. She make you build more endorphins, right? right? I see you. When you came back, you were sweating, so it worked. Thank you, Holly, for making it work. Yes. Okay, so I would like to show you a video. It's from Dr. Morton. We have seen him before. And Darren Morton, he is part of the CHIP program as well, and I hope you enjoy it. You can do your own gym and from your home the proper way, so you can get this video as well for free.
For many people, when they hear the word strength building exercises, also known as resistance exercises, it conjures images of young males with big egos in the gyms grunting abnormally loudly, eager to impress the fairer sex. But the truth is that that is wrong on two accounts. For one, to do effective strength building exercises, you don't need to join a gym. In fact, you can be your own gym. And I'm about to demonstrate to you a range of activities that you can do in the convenience of your own home. The second thing is that it's not just young males that can benefit from resistance exercises. In fact, if I were asked who could most benefit, I would reply the opposite demographic. It's probably older females that stand to gain the most. And the reason for that is there's three distinct things that are achieved through resistance exercises, like the ones I'm about to demonstrate. And the first one is that resistance exercises increase our muscle strength and increase our muscle tone. You see, as we grow older, we tend to experience sarcopenia, which is a loss of muscle mass. And when we lose muscle mass, we lose functionality, we lose strength, and there's a whole range of other problems that are associated with that. For example, stability. We're more prone to falling if that's the case. And so one thing is by doing resistance exercises, you can help preserve your lean muscle tissue, which is a real positive. The second thing, and this is fundamentally important, is that when you do strength exercises, not only do you improve the muscle strength, you also improve the strength of all the other things that support muscles, and that includes bones. And we know that one of the best ways to improve your bone density, which tends to decrease after the third decade of life, sadly, is to do resistance type activities like the ones I'm about to share with you. And then the third thing, and you're going to be interested in this, so listen up. We know that resistance exercises, by improving your muscle tone, can actually boost your metabolism. Now, if you know and are envious of those people who can eat copious amounts of food and are still as skinny as a beanpole, whereas we know there are other people who just walk past a cake shop and the smell goes straight to their thighs, we know that often the reason for that is because of your metabolic rate, your resting speed at which you burn energy. What we know is that resistance exercises are very effective for dialing up your metabolism. So, if you are interested in A, keeping up your muscular strength and functionality, B, improving your bone strength, and C, dialing up your energy expenditure even whilst you're sleeping, then resistance exercises are for you. So, let's get stuck into it. Let me show you a simple routine that you can do in the convenience of your own home. Now, before you do resistance exercises, it's always a good idea to do a bit of a warm-up. And that may just involve 5 or 10 minutes of brisk walking or jogging if you're up to that. So that's one important consideration. The second thing is that as we demonstrate these exercises, and I'd encourage you to follow along, if at any time you experience any pain or discomfort, then obviously cease from doing that and check with your health professional before you proceed. Now, for most of the activities that we're about to demonstrate, you actually need no equipment at all. But for some of them, it's worth having just some light resistance weights that you can use. And you don't need to go out and purchase something in order to achieve that. For example, well, if you do have some of these lying around the house, that's great, or you could get some of these from a local sports store. But things like tins of food serve just as well, and you can get various sizes, obviously. Here's another idea, is taking a couple of drink bottles, and you can fill these up with water or with sand to varying extents so that you can adjust how much resistance you'd like to use. Now, I've invited my friend Heather here. Welcome, Heather, thank you, to help me demonstrate these range of activities. And these are the heaviest items I have, so you're going to take them and I'll take the tins of food. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top and we're going to work our way down. And essentially these activities work most regions of the body. So you can get pretty much a complete body workout doing these. And as you'll see, it's just in the comfort of your own home and you don't need expensive gear. Our first exercise works our shoulder muscles, which are known as the deltoids. And the starting position is as such. And all we do is we extend the arms and then back down to the starting position. And you can keep doing that for a moment. What you'll find is that this is a very functional exercise, that mimics the action of taking things down from a high cupboard, which particularly as we get older can become a bit of a challenge. So these sorts of exercises can make a huge difference in this regard in increasing our functionality. That's the first shoulder exercise. The second one, we'll come down to a position here. We need to make sure we're not going to bang into anything, but starting with our hands beside our side and keeping the arms almost straight, just bring them out to the side and then back down again. Nice. Now, people often say, how many times should I do this? Should I keep going till the cows come home? Well, in truth, what you probably need to be aiming for is around about 15, what we call repetitions. And every time Heather lifts that up and places it down, that's 1 repetition. There's 2, obviously. If you can select a weight that you can perform about 15 repetitions with, that's probably about ideal. If you get to the end of the 15 and it's like you haven't even lifted anything, then obviously you need to increase the resistance a little more. If it's too much of a struggle and your eyes nearly pop out of their sockets, then that's too much. And so 15 is probably an ideal target. Okay, there's our shoulder exercises done. The next muscle group we're going to work are the front of the arms referred to as the biceps, and this is called a bicep curl. So our starting position is here, and we lift the weight and then back down again. Now, as Heather's doing that, I'll just explain it's a really important thing when you're doing resistance type activities is to adopt a good posture. And the most important part, or one of the most important parts of this, is what happens in this midsection region. Now, you may have heard of the concept of core stability, and what that means is making sure this area is nice, that the tummy's tucked in and nice and tight, because by doing that we support our lower back. And so that's the bicep curl, and you can see keeping that nice tight core is really important. Okay, for our next activity we won't actually need the weights. We're actually going to be using a wall, and this activity will target our chest muscles, the pectoralis muscles, and the back of the arms, which are the triceps. Let's move over to the wall, Heather. So Heather, if you can just stand with your hands about shoulder height, that's correct. Nice straight body, and the technique is just to lower yourself towards the wall and then push back out. And this is exercising the muscles on the back of the arm, the triceps, and also the chest muscles. Now what you want to make sure is that as you're doing this, you're keeping a nice straight body line. You don't want your bottom sticking out with a bent back as such, and also you don't want to arch your head and shoulders forward. Nice straight torso is the way to go. Once again, thinking about keeping that core nice and strong. Now for a more challenging variant of that particular activity, we can find a nice stable bench as such. Take a good couple of steps away from the bench and lower yourself down and then back up again. And you can see this is beginning to resemble those push-ups that we love from our childhood days, which are actually a more challenging variant again. So that's our chest and our tricep muscles exercised. The next activity does the opposite, the upper back muscles and the biceps. And we need to come over the stairwell to do that. Okay, so for our next exercise, we're going to make use of this post, or you could use a railing around about the height of the midsection. And as Heather's got your toes nice and close to the base, and all we're going to do is lower ourselves down to a comfortable distance. Don't go too far beyond your capability, and then pull yourself back into position. And as you can see, this is working the muscles of the upper back and also the biceps. This is called an upright rowing exercise. Now a variant of that is to use a chair, and I'll get you there, Heather, to put your knee and this hand on the chair as well before we take a weight in the other hand. And it's very important that you put this hand in place so that it supports the lower back. The exercise, as Heather's demonstrating, is just to pull the weight up to your armpit, and it's working these muscles in here. Very nice. Okay, I'll take the weight from you because we're now ready to do some lower body exercises. We're going to start using the chair again and put it in place as such. Very important for this that you have a very stable surface, so you could use a chair or a bench, something that's not going to give way on you. Now the exercise is to simply squat down, and it's important as you do this that you actually stick your bottom out. And if you look down, your knees they only act as a hinge joint. They shouldn't be collapsing in or out. And so you should be able to look down and actually see your toes at all times. Your knees shouldn't pass beyond your toes. That's why it's important to stick your bottom out there. Now, as you get better at that, perhaps a slightly more challenging variant is to actually come around to the front. And this time I'm going to stabilise myself by putting my arms out into the front and just lowering down to a seated position and then back up as such. And what you can see is that this is a very functional activity because it involves me going to a seated position and then back up, which is a strategy or a technique that many people as they get older have a lot of difficulty with. So it's a great activity to practice in that regard. Okay, for our next set of activities, we need to move to the floor. And so now we've worked the muscles in our upper legs, it's time to target our midsection region. And we're going to do the front side, which are the abdominal muscles or the tummy muscles. And to do this, as Heather's adopted, we want a nice bend in the knee. And all I'm going to get you to do, Heather, is just to place your hands on your thighs and just slide them up towards your knees. And you can see, for this exercise, all you need to do is lift your shoulders off the ground. You don't need to come up any further than that. And as we do it, we concentrate on tensing our tummy muscles. Now, one thing that's very important while you're doing this exercise, as with all resistance exercises, is that you need to make sure that you're breathing throughout the activity. It's in and out constantly. When you hold your breath, particularly that sort of grunting type sound that we call it the Valsalva maneuver, it can dangerously elevate your blood pressure. So it's important that you keep on breathing. Well done, Heather. We've worked the front of our midsection, our tummy muscles. This is an exercise for the lower back region, and all I get you to do is to extend your arms out in front, lifting your opposite arm and opposite leg simultaneously. And according to our 15 repetition policy, if we could perform 15 repetitions on each side, that would be perfect. Once you've completed that, you could roll back over to the front, do your abdominal exercises, roll back, and then once you've done that 3 times each, you've completed 3 sets of 15 repetitions, which is the ideal. Okay, you can have a rest. We're on to our last exercise. We need to come over to the steps to do that. And for this last exercise, Heather, I'll get you just to step up a couple of steps. Very simple. All you need to do is place your toes on the edge of the step. Make sure that you're supporting yourself on the rail so that you're nice and steady, and then just lowering yourself down so that your heels go down and then back up onto your tippy toes. And this is called the calf raise, and obviously it targets the calf muscles. And what I find fascinating about this exercise in particular is that you're only using your body weight, and yet after 10 or 15 repetitions you'll feel that burning sensation in your muscles. Don't be alarmed by that. Obviously you don't want to push it too far, but that's a normal symptom of doing resistance exercises, and it should subside very soon after you stop. And so what we've been able to demonstrate for you is that it doesn't need to be difficult, and you can do it by just using simple equipment around the home, or for that matter just your own body weight. You can perform a very effective resistance training program. If you were to do this 2 or 3 times a week, you will notice very significant changes in your strength and your level of vitality. Give it a go.
Okay, do you enjoy that video? Do you like it? Where explained you can do at home. And you know what? We have right over here, just came on time, our personal trainer, Tiago Camargo. He is from Brazil, and I believe your wife has already acquainted with another couple that is here in the gym as well. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Tiago.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you for the invite. Thank you very much. So my name is Tiago, as Cecilia said. I'm from Brazil, and I'm pretty new here in Canada. I'm a personal trainer more than a year in Brazil, and over here in Canada more than 9 months. And so I believe since I was young, I was a really obese guy, and I lost a lot of weight. I lost almost 60 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and I get really skinny guy. And I can say that resistance training and exercise with weight saved my life, definitely.
Wow.
And it's the best way to keep yourself health, mind and body, because everything's work together, mind and body. And I don't know, guys, if you have any questions about resistance training, and we can adapt almost every training to do in home or at the gym, or if you have any kind of injury, we can adapt that, because my role as a trainer is adapt for you guys, have the best performance, more than just performance, but the best health, doing the best way to do exercise without injuring yourself.
Exactly. So, Tiago, I met you at the gym, and I get really good comments about the way you work with the clients.
Yeah.
And I am part of the group that you also kind of coach and lead us in the training as a group.
Yeah.
What is the type of training that you are teaching me? Because all I do is sweat and sweat and sweat a lot.
Yeah. What I try to do is always keep our heart rate max for yourself, not max you can, but max for yourself. So there's people that can do more intense workouts, others can do less, and I address people, say, oh, you can do more, I know that you can do more, 1 more set or 10 more seconds. I believe that motivate you doing more during a long period, more time or more repetitions, make you achieve a better performance on training. Because more than just do exercise, you need someone motivate you to do.
Absolutely, I believe that, and thank you to your guidance throughout the workout. I'm happy at the end of that work, working so hard. Yeah. I know that when you are teaching us to do an exercise and you get intense and then you give us a rest.
Yeah.
So is that called the HIIT training?
It's the HIIT. Is like one of the philosophies of the HIIT, 8IT exercise, high intensive training. Well, what I like to do with you guys, it is like 1 minute of high intense training and a couple seconds just to recover yourself, but not more than 1 minute recovery, because to keep all your heart rate high as possible, because through your day you're going to spend more calories, because it's going to make your metabolism running faster during your day.
Thank you, Tiago. We have a lot of people watching online right now as well. Yeah. So if you have any more questions, please send us an email or send us a text or a message. Tiago will be happy to talk to you about your new goals. Also, he is going to be here. Are you going to be here for the rest of the evening?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Tiago.
Yeah.
I mentioned I'm doing this health expo, and we're going to talk about these natural remedies. And he says, I can help you. I'll be there.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
So anything else that you would like to talk to us about the way you train?
Yeah, I always like to hear feedbacks from my clients. I believe that's the most important thing is have feedback from you guys. Because if you don't have the feedback, I will not know if the training is working or not. But more than working, if you enjoy the training, because I need to make you resilience on doing the training. Do the training the most, how can I say? During most time you can during your life. For example, if you do a really intense workout, you're going to be so exhausted that you're going to say, oh, next week I will not go. Definitely was exhausting. Or if I do a kind of training that is not too much exhausted, make you enjoying the training and see, oh, I'm seeing some difference, but I feel exhausted, but I enjoy so much their class. It's some kind of the group class, is some advantage of grouping classes too. Is more enjoyed than just a personal training class sometimes. If you are starting training, I totally recommend a group training class.
Yes, I enjoy it, right, Tiago?
Yeah.
I'm a good.
A lot.
Good, eh?
And you work hard. You work hard.
Tell them.
Yeah, she work hard. You work hard.
Yeah, I like the challenge. I like the challenge every time that we go there. And, I get heavier weights. I concentrate, I focus, and I listen to you. Most importantly, I'm able to trust him what I'm able and not able to do and how to do it and not to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes your body is feeling okay, but then you start moving and something was tweaking on your back and you go like, oh.
Yeah. It's
So-
a little touch. The little angle you do different gonna make you perform better your exercise too and more safe. The
Yes.
most important, do it safely.
Now you have a challenge yourself.
Yeah.
What are you up to right now?
So last week, I competed in a bodybuilding competition.
A what? Sorry?
A bodybuilding competition.
Ooh,
Is
tell
what
us, what is that all about?
So bodybuilding, I don't know if you guys do you know Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, was one of the most famous bodybuilding athletes in the world. Yeah, you remember the shows, the guys on stage, oil on the body. Yeah, you know. So I competed one of these competitions, but naturally, no using hormones, and this was last week. So this was really challenging. I would not recommend because it's extreme things. Everything from high performance is definitely not health. But some good things I can get from this high performance. It is consistency, hard training, and more important, discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Yes. So what do you do about your eating discipline?
Yeah, I need to keep a little bit away the carbohydrates like some potato, pasta, bread, reducing fats and increase the protein. The most important nutrient for us, building muscle and keeping muscle, because when you are eating, you lose muscle. You start to lose muscle after 40, 42 years old. You're starting to lose your muscles, and you need to keep your muscles up. You need to train hard and eat protein, the right amount of protein. It's really important.
Yes. So my message today to everyone that is watching as well is just the word movement, because if you don't move, you will lose it.
Yeah.
And if you have a little bit of weight on that movement, well, that's what is called strength.
It's strength training. Yeah. Imagine a machine. Imagine a car. If you leave the car in the garage, they're gonna rust and not gonna work. Your body is the same thing. It's a machine. You need to move your machine to make it work as much as you can.
Wow. Thank you, Tiago.
Thank you.
Okay, so this has concluded all the exposition of this seminar. Have you enjoyed it? Did you learn something? Do you have any suggestions? Please let us know, because we want to keep doing this every year. So thank you so much. Before you go, I just would like to say thank you to all our sponsors. You know, it has been quite an adventure, Tiago, and it has taken this exposition so well in the community. So we have a list of all these companies that were able to, contribute.
Yeah,
and we still have a few more, but we're going to leave it after haystacks, and before whoever joined the training with Tiago, you're going to get more prizes. So they send us, presents and gift certificates, and we are so thankful that health is so important in the community. So I encourage you to keep, this journey of health where you are right now, keep moving on the right way for the long term, not just for one day or one evening that make you happy and then you will be miserable the next day. Say no to what is harmful to you. That's very important, and as a foundation for the rest of your health is being able to have the self-control to say no to things that are harmful. Say yes to all the free things that you have learned during this seminar, which is the pure air, the water intake, the good whole foods, nutrition foods that you can eat every day. Avoid the sugar intake. Avoid things that are making you feel inflamed, inflamed and upset. So make sure you get into the habits of, seeing the colors in the foods, add some herbs, avoid the sugar, limit the salt intake. So all these things, I hope that you have enjoyed the lectures from Carrie, dealing with the past, dealing with anger, building relationships. That is going to help you live in harmony. Be happy. You were born to be happy and healthier and live in harmony with yourself and the whole world, basically. So this is the message from the Heartbeat Health Club to all our community. Just be happy. Choose to be happy. And just enjoy. Enjoy what you eat. This is a relationship with yourself and the community. Be happy and move on. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiago. Okay, so what it comes next is haystacks. Domingo, do you have any words? Do you have any words right now for our friends?
Well, thank you, Cecilia, and thank you so much to you too as well. The only thing I'd like to add is I just want to thank you for taking the opportunity to complete this. You might say, oh, we are not that many people, but it takes a little bit of time to build up the level of interest on this kind of activities, and I'm glad that you came. And please receive my best word of thankfulness for you for coming. What I like to say is, moving to the next occasion, please feel free to invite your friends. A lot of people need to hear about this. Could be your neighbor, could be your coworker, could be someone who just a friend, anyone, family, but this word need to go out, and the best way to do it is by using your own friends, your own connections, to come, to learn and to improve in their health. So we are thankful for Cecilia and her team for putting this program together. Carrie, so grateful that you came all the way to deal with us again. And your messages were very inspirational, so thank you so much for doing that. And like I said, the next time, let's get people involved on this. This is a message that not only we need, everyone around us needs a degree of this message. So that would be my last word for this today. Thank you. Okay, so it is time for, oh my goodness, I'm hungry though. I'm very hungry. It's time for haystack now.